Your life fits you like a suit that is 2 sizes too small. You feel the fabric pulling at your shoulders. You feel the seams threatening to tear every time you breathe. This is not a failure of your character. It is a failure of your environment. You're standing in a room where the ceiling has become too low. You used to walk here freely. Now you have to hunch your back just to move. You feel a heavy grey exhaustion. It is not the tiredness of work. It is the tiredness of pretending. You pretend that the old conversations still interest you. You pretend that the old goals still matter. You pretend that the person you were 3 years ago is still alive. But that person is gone. You are carrying a ghost on your back. It is heavy. It is cold. And it is starting to rot. The pain you feel is the friction between who you are and where you are. Friction creates heat. Heat creates fire. You think you're burning out. You're not. You're being forged. The old structure of your life was built for a smaller version of you. It was a solid foundation for a child, or a younger man, or a simpler mind. But you have added weight, not physical weight, functional weight. You have seen more, you have suffered more, you have processed more data than your old world can hold. Now the walls are pressing in. Every social interaction feels like an interrogation. Every "how are you" feels like a trap. You want to scream, but you have no words, so you stay silent. You withdraw. You sit in the corner of your own life and watch the dust settle. This is the diagnosis. You have outgrown the cage. The cage was comfortable once. It provided safety. It provided a clear boundary. You knew where the walls were. You knew where the floor ended. But safety is the enemy of expansion. You stayed in the cage because you were told that consistency is a virtue. You were told that settling down is the goal, but your nature is not static. Your nature is a slow, relentless movement toward truth. And the truth is currently crushing your bones because the space around you is too narrow. You feel a deep, hollow ache in your chest. You think it is depression. It is actually the vacuum left by an identity that no longer exists. You are living in the ruins of a previous version of yourself. The roof is gone, the windows are broken, and you are trying to keep the furniture dry. Stop. Look at the walls. They are not protecting you anymore. They are restricting your blood flow. The people around you notice it. They see you changing. They don't like it. They want the old version back, the predictable version, the version that didn't make them feel uncomfortable. When you grow, you become a mirror. You reflect the stagnation of everyone else. Your silence feels like a judgment to them. Your lack of enthusiasm feels like a betrayal. They will try to pull you back down. They will use guilt. They will use concern. They will tell you that you are losing your way. They are wrong. You are finally finding the path, but the path is currently covered in thorns and broken glass. This is the pressure. It is the weight of 1,000 expectations that no longer fit. You're trying to hold up a ceiling that is already falling. Drop it. Let it hit the floor. You're afraid that if the old world breaks, you will break with it. But you are the one who outgrew it. You are the giant in the dollhouse. The house must break so you can stand up straight. The discomfort you feel is the only thing honest about your life right now. The numbness is a shield. The confusion is a map. You are entering the phase of structural collapse. It is necessary. It is logical. You cannot build a cathedral on the foundation of a shed. The shed must be cleared. Every piece of wood, every rusted nail, every memory of how things used to be. The weight you feel is the gravity of your own potential. It is heavy because it is real. The old world was light. It was easy. It was shallow. You could navigate it without thinking. Now, every step requires effort. Every decision feels like a mountain. This is because you are finally engaging with the mechanics of your own existence. You are no longer drifting. You are colliding. The pain is the evidence of impact. Do not run from it. Do not medicate it with cheap distractions. Do not seek vibes or healing energy. Seek the structure. Understand the mechanism. You are a biological and spiritual machine that has reached its limit in this current configuration. The system is forcing a hard reboot. You're in the black screen. You're in the silence. The old files are being deleted. The new operating system is loading. It feels like death. It is actually the beginning of utility. You're becoming useful. But first, you must become empty. You must accept that the old world is dead, and you are the one who killed it by growing. This is not a crime. It is a duty. The collapse is not a mistake. It is a demolition. You tried to fix the old house with tape and paint. You tried to ignore the cracks in the foundation. You tried to pretend the termites weren't eating the beams. It failed. It had to fail. A structure built on a lie cannot withstand the weight of the truth. Now the roof is gone. The walls are rubble. You're standing in the middle of the debris, exposed to the wind. You feel cold. You feel naked. Good. The cold is a reminder that you're still capable of feeling reality. The numbness was the lie. The pain is the diagnostic tool. It tells you exactly where you are. You're at the 0 point. This is the breakdown. It is the moment where the old methods of survival stop working. They were designed for a world that no longer exists. You're trying to use a map of a city that has been burned to the ground. Every turn you take leads to a dead end. Every person you call for help speaks a language you no longer understand. This is not because you are losing your mind. It is because you are gaining a soul. You're pinned under the weight of your own history. You look at the pieces of your life scattered on the ground. Your career, your relationships, your reputation. They look like junk. They look like someone else's property. This is the friction of the soul. You're moving, but the world is stationary. This creates heat. The heat has turned into a fire that has consumed your comfort. Do not try to put it out. Let it burn. Anything that can be destroyed by the truth deserves to be destroyed. You're not broken. You're disassembled. A machine that is taken apart for cleaning and recalibration is not broken. It is in a state of maintenance. You're on the workbench. The architect is silent, but the tools are active. The tool is the silence itself. The tool is the isolation. You feel alone because you're in a sterile environment. You cannot build a new identity in a crowd. You cannot find your center while listening to the noise of other people's expectations. The breakdown is the clearing of the site. It is loud. It is violent. It is necessary. Now the noise begins to fade. The people who liked the old, smaller version of you have left the room. They don't like ruins. They like finished buildings with comfortable chairs. They see the smoke and they run. Let them run. They were never part of the foundation. They were just the wallpaper. Now you are in the silent re-evaluation. This is the quiet after the storm. The dust is still settling. You're sitting on a pile of bricks, and for the first time in years, you're not performing. You're not trying to be successful. You're not trying to be happy. You're just trying to breathe. This is the most honest moment of your life. You're looking at the materials. You're picking up the pieces of your identity and testing their weight. You pick up a piece labeled ambition. You look at it. It is light. It is hollow. You realized it was fueled by a need for approval from people you don't even respect. You throw it away. You pick up a piece labeled fear. It is heavy. It has deep roots. You look at it without blinking. You don't try to overcome it. You just acknowledge its structure. You see how it was used to keep you in the cage. You set it aside. You're performing an inventory of the wreckage. This is a mechanical process. There is no room for sentimentality here. There is no room for regret. Regret is a waste of resources. You are an engineer looking at a failed project. You're identifying the point of failure. The point of failure was the ego. The ego wanted to stay small because small is safe. But you grew, and the ego couldn't stretch, so it snapped. In this silence, you begin to see the floor, not the carpet, but the actual foundation. It is made of something harder than your emotions. It is made of the things that remain when everything else is gone. Your capacity to endure, your ability to witness your own suffering without turning away, your will to exist even when existence feels like a chore. This is the hard core of your reality. It is cold. It is grey. It is solid. This is the basis of the new structure. You're not looking for a new beginning. You are looking for structural integrity. You're looking for a way to stand that does not depend on the weather. The old world was built on the sand of feeling good. The new world will be built on the rock of being true. The vacuum you feel in your chest is not an absence. It is a presence. It is the space required for the new pillars. You cannot pour concrete into a room that is already full of junk. The emptiness is the proof that the work has begun. Do not try to fill it with distractions. Do not try to fill it with new habits or positive vibes. Sit in the emptiness. Let the vacuum pull the truth out of you. You're learning to exist without the external scaffolding. You're learning that your identity is not your circumstances. Your identity is the thing that observes the circumstances. This is the transformation. It is slow, it is quiet, it is heavy. You are the architect of a void, and soon you will be the builder of a fortress. But for now, there is only the weight of the silence. There is only the inventory of the ruins. Stay here. Do not move until the foundation is clear. Every piece of the old self that you try to save will become a crack in the new one. Leave it all behind. The fire was a gift. The collapse was a favor. You are finally free of the burden of being who you were told to be. You're down to the bone, and the bone is strong. You're no longer looking for comfort. You're looking for load-bearing capacity. The old version of you was a consumer of ease. The new version is a producer of stability. This is the growth. It does not feel like a warm glow in your chest. It feels like the ache of muscles being used for the first time in years. You're standing on the foundation you cleared during the collapse. It is cold. It is hard. It is permanent. You have stopped asking why the old world broke. You have accepted that it was insufficient. You have stopped mourning the debris. You are looking at the raw materials of your new reality with the eyes of a builder. Self-respect is returning, but not through praise or external validation. It is returning through the simple act of looking at the truth without flinching. You survived the demolition. You stayed in the silence while others ran for the nearest distraction. This endurance is your new currency. It is the proof of your structural integrity. You are a person who can withstand the weight of their own transformation. This is a rare quality. Most people spend their lives patching the cracks in a dying house. You let yours fall so you could build something that doesn't need constant repair. You're now designing the new boundaries. These walls are thicker. The windows are positioned to let in the light, but also to keep out the noise. You're choosing your associations based on weight, not on convenience. You no longer care for the light, airy conversations that used to fill your time. You want substance. You want people who have also seen their own ruins. You want a life that has a measurable center of gravity. This is not arrogance. This is selection. You have outgrown the need for belonging to a group that requires you to stay small. You belong to the truth now. The truth is a demanding landlord, but it provides the only real security in a world made of shifting sand. The new world you are building is not a paradise. It is a workshop. It is a place where you refine your character through daily, repetitive acts of discipline. Discipline is the steel in the concrete. Without it, your new identity will sag under the first sign of pressure. You do not need motivation. You need a schedule. You need a set of non-negotiable standards for how you handle your mind and your body. This is the Catholicism of the soul, the understanding that ritual and structure are the only things that protect the spirit from the chaos of emotion. You are creating a liturgy of the mundane. You wake up, you work, you endure, you reflect. You do not ask how you feel, you ask what the day requires. The pain has not disappeared, it has simply changed its function. It is no longer a signal of failure, it is now a signal of resistance. It is the friction of the chisel against the stone. Every time you feel that familiar ache of loneliness or confusion, you recognize it as the sound of the work. You are being shaped. The excess is being carved away. The parts of you that were soft and decorative are falling to the floor. What remains is the core. What remains is the part of you that cannot be broken. You're becoming a person of weight. When you walk into a room, the air feels different. You're not trying to be noticed. You're simply present. You're grounded. You're a fact that cannot be ignored. This is the end of the transition. The old world is now a memory, a story about someone you used to know. You do not hate that person. You do not pity him. You simply recognize that he was a necessary stage of development. He was the caterpillar that had to dissolve so the structure could emerge. You're not a butterfly. You're a fortress. You're built for the long winter. You're built for the storm. You have accepted that the light is often distant, but you no longer need it to guide your every step. You have the internal compass of your own integrity. You know where north is because you built the needle yourself. The transition is complete when you stop waiting for things to get better and start making them correct. Correct is better than good. Correct is aligned with reality. You are now aligned. The friction has stopped because you are no longer fighting the growth. You are the growth. You are the movement. You are the silent authority of a life that has been tested and found solid. There is no need for applause. There is no need for a ceremony. The work is its own reward. The silence is your home. The house is finished. The ceiling is high. You can stand up straight now. Your shoulders are broad. Your eyes are clear. The weight you feel is no longer a burden. It is your own power. Stone. Walk in the light, even on the days it feels distant.